Hello everybody and welcome back to another creative build. It's been a little bit since we've done a cool build. I think the last one was the tornado, which you all seem to really like, which I'm glad for. But this time I wanted to try something different as always, and I still wanted to go for like a weirdly organic structure like I did for the tornado, but I saw some images that really inspired me and I was kind of like, I want to build that in Minecraft. Also, look, we got our little Christmas skin here, which is very cute, because it is that time of the year, coming up very, very soon, so Merry Christmas to all of you that celebrate it. Otherwise, let's go straight into the time lapse and afterwards I'll explain a little bit about what I built. Let's go! Alright, so here we go. Here is our final build, and I really like it. I love all the colours that I was able to use here. It was just very different to what I usually do, and I love doing some smoke effects and fire effects, and this looks really cool. Now we are viewing it at night, of course, and that's because this is kind of meant to be viewed at night. It's not bad viewing it at day, as you can see. Not bad to view at day, but it really just pops at night because I've added a bunch of light blocks there. So let's go back to it. So yeah, because I've added a bunch of light blocks to kind of glow the fire, it really pops a lot more. So that effect is very easy. You can do it in creative, but you can't do it in survival, unfortunately, because I've used some of the light blocks, which I've got right here, and you can see kind of where I've placed them. So yeah, they pop up afterwards. But yeah, just putting some of those in side of the fire just made it glow, which was perfect. Now, some of the other tricks that I was able to use here is I wanted to try some forced shadowing. So we've got a little bit here. It's nothing like amazing, but I kind of like the pixelated version. It kind of reminds me of like a retro game house or something similar. But we've also got a bunch of texturing I've done on the walls just so they're not as white. We've just got a few blocks which just make it a little bit different around each wall, which I think is cool. I love the really random windows on each of the sides of the house. It makes it look kind of abstract and just strange, and I don't know, I like it. It built some interest. Now I wanted to make sure I like put a bunch of detail, because obviously the fire is like loads of detail already. We've got some really cool designs around the smoke here, which took me a while. And one of the other small things that you might not be able to notice, but it does make a really big difference, is I added some light blocks just on top of the smoke, because it's kind of like the light from the fire or even the light from the moon is reflecting on the thick bits of smoke. So it's not really like noticeable unless I point it out, but it really did help the builds. Now again, one of the small details you kind of might have been able to see as we flew around, I have a bunch of grey candles and I wanted to have that kind of emulate ash. Again, very subtle, but when you see it, you kind of see it all around. And again, I just wanted it to look like it was currently happening and just some ash floating in the sky, and the candles were perfect for that because they're just small enough to like not ruin the look of the build, but also like big enough to notice. And again, we've got some ash bits on the floor, not many, but just a few, because I guess this fire is kind of meant to be one that was started very recently, but kind of just billowed out very quickly. So some of the ash is kind of settled, but most of it is in the air. Now the little trees, this tree here and all of the trees similar to it are all the same tree. So like these three around, I've just rotated them and copied them around. It's a very simple design. I just wanted a little tree with some snow just to give that snowy forest look. And we had our lovely Feather help with some of the other trees. So he's designed this one and the dead one over here, which I really like as an addition to the build. You don't really like notice it first up and it's not the feature, but having it there just makes the whole scene here look very real. Now strangely, what really helped this build pop in the end was the background here, which I did not try to do very well. It looks a bit patchy, but that was also kind of what I was going for. I originally just did one type, so I originally just did, I think this is blue concrete, let's check. Yeah, I just did the blue concrete all around, but I realized that it was a bit too dark for how I wanted it, because this is meant to be kind of at a dusk time, and the fire would also be lighting up the sky around, which is pretty hard to do in Minecraft because we don't have ambient lighting, unfortunately, or colored lighting, which would be perfect for this, but not quite. And then I tried with the lighter blue concrete powder, which I'm pretty sure, yes, blue concrete powder, and it was just too light. So I was like, you know what, let's just give it a go and try to mix the two. And I did, and it worked really well, and I do love it a lot. It just adds like a little bit of an artistic kind of imperfection look to it. And again, you don't really notice it. You don't notice that it's kind of unevenly just painted around. You notice the house first, and the background just kind of blends into the background, which is exactly what I wanted. Now the interior isn't done here. I've kind of just closed off the door, but I can't really do the interior because there's a big billowing fire inside of it. But the inside of the houses isn't really what I wanted. I wanted this build to be a scene, like a picture from a movie. Like if you were to screenshot a section of a game, this is what I wanted it to be. And I did consider putting something inside of this garage, which this is what it's meant to be. It's meant to be like a covered garage. However, when I tried to, it made the build look a bit too full, and I wanted this to kind of be a bit of an empty, surreal kind of build, and having a piece of machinery or a car kind of took away from that. I want this to be a build where the timeline, the era of this house and its surroundings is kind of unknown. Could this be a dystopian future Could this be a very ancient past building? Could this just be a current civilization? By adding any vehicle there would kind of cement the era or time piece this building and this scene is a remnant of. And I kind of like it empty. It adds a little bit more of a mysterious idea there, which just a dark garage, what's parked in there. And I like that it leaves a lot up to interpretation, which again was my plan. Now we've got a very textured snowy floor, which it does bring a lot to the build. When it was just flat before, it didn't give the idea that I wanted. I want it to be messy and lived in, I guess. But yeah, this whole house and this whole scene, every little detail and every part I've thought out so carefully, and I love the final product, and I hope you guys do as well. This is kind of Christmassy, I guess. Like, I'm in my Christmas skin, and this is a little bit. I mean, it's snowy. It is a house on fire, so, you know, win some, you lose some, but very cool. And I hope you love this build. I do love it myself. It was something I want to try a bit more of. I loved doing the glass and the fire idea, which I learnt from doing the tornado, which we won't get too close to because I haven't got full bright on, so it looks a bit silly. But yeah, I really liked the tornado and the glass ideas I had for that, so I wanted to interpret into my next build, and I think I did it pretty well. What should I build next? Maybe I'll try and do something Christmassy, but looking at the date right now, I might not get a chance to, so this might be the only Christmas you get, which is just flames in the background. So, sorry about that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.